guys, my name is Jeff and thanks for watching dirtyshirt.info. This morning's project is that we are going to put a new convertible top on a 2000 Mazda Miata MX-5. I have the new parts here, and in a minute we'll talk about the problem that we're actually trying to solve. So here's the top itself. Ordered this from topsonline.com. I have no affiliation with these people. They just did a good job, so I'll plug them here, right? The top itself and the cable assembly that goes down either side of the top. I'm in for shipping and everything, just over 600 bucks. So this is not a cheap project, but you got to do what you got to do. So let's come over here and talk about the problem that we're having with the top, and then let's fix that. So it's about a 15, 16-year-old top now, and it's got some wear marks in here. It's gone all the way through. You can see where the stitching is completely dry rotted out, so we got to get rid of this top. What really caused the problem that got us moving on this project was that we've had record rain in Texas for 2015, and over the Thanksgiving holiday, the car was sitting out for one night. It always stays in the garage except for that one night, and it just dumped buckets. Come to find out, we had at least 1.5 gallons of water in the trunk, right? So come on over here and take a look what I've done with the trunk. I've completely stripped this thing of every piece of material that was in it and actually put the spare back in. So it all came out. It had to be dried, sun-dried, and, you know, vacuumed out and the whole bit. So it was quite a mess, and it's just, you know, something we've got to deal with now. So let's talk about the top itself. You have several options when you buy these things, and some are a little cheaper, some a little bit more expensive, but you're going to be in for 500 bucks at least, right? It's just how it goes. This is called a two-piece top, and it's indicated by this sort of this ridge that goes around the back window here. The new top actually has a new back window in it. You can't recycle this. It's built right in. So the vinyl is the piece that I chose. This is actually an easy on top. I called Tops Online before I ordered anything, and the reason I did that was because I wasn't really sure. I didn't have enough information. I wanted to discuss some certain things. So Tops Online recommended that the easy on top. The manufacturer of that top has been in the business for a long time. I paid extra for that, probably another 50 bucks over some of the other suppliers that they use, and that was worth it to me, just to know that things are going to go well. So vinyl top, easy on. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to pull out the driver's seat. It's 4 bolts, 14 millimeter if I'm not mistaken. And you know, we're using air tools here. It's not necessary. Everything on here is pretty much going to be a hand tool unless you have air. So we've got them, so we're going to go ahead and use them. Piece of trim that runs along the front here is 4 screws need to come out, and of course I'm going to take a lot of care to make sure that everything, all the hardware goes with the correct piece that is being removed. Rubber trim piece fits down this track, then the track comes off both sides. I mentioned the cables that I purchased. This is an additional purchase. The top does not come with them, so don't forget to do that when you go to order your top. Here's where the cable is connected. And this is a 5/32 inch rivet that has to be cut off. The cable is actually encased within the material itself. So in order to get the top off, you can either cut the cable or you have to cut the rivet. One way or another, that rivet's got to come out in order to get the new cable back in. Disconnect the window defroster off this back. It's got a little bit of a tie on it. So I'm just in the process of removing the keepers that hold the back decking carpet down. So we've removed, I don't know, maybe a dozen or so of those. And then it has this piece that comes into the passenger compartment forward. And about 5 of them, they just need to be popped out. Then the whole carpet will come. Then we're going to remove the bolts holding the rain rail in, and that'll give us access to a screw that's actually right behind here. That's actually holding the cable on. It's about 15 or so, maybe 16 bolts that hold the rain rail in all the way along the back. I use an air tool to get this off, and it is a 10 millimeter. Rain rail bolts or actually nuts have all been removed, and now there's a metal keeper that runs the entire perimeter of the top, and I'm pulling that off. And they're tight. Look at all this junk. So this thing is filled with mud and dirt and who knows what. There's no wonder that the thing is probably jammed up and leaking into the trunk because there's nowhere for the water to go. All right, we cut the top off so that we could all see exactly how this thing is connected, because until you can actually see this, it's very difficult to, one, film it, two, to explain it. So here's what the deal is. The cable starts here. We already removed that rivet earlier. The cable runs down along here. It's actually inside this part of the top, okay? It curls through this little hole right here, okay? Cable running down, goes down through here, and if I can get it right here, there's the spring, okay, and it attaches with a Phillips right here. Some of the other challenges are is that it's riveted here, so those have to be cut off, and they also have to be reinstalled, which of course is not going to be the most easiest thing that we can imagine. So, you know, these 5/32 rivets, they're just hard to get, and I don't know why the heck they're 5/32. What we're going to end up having to do is probably drill some of these holes out, make them bigger so that we can use a more standard sized rivet. Now, did you get it? I got it. The drain passages on either side. One of them was fairly clogged up. This one looks quite a bit worse. So I'm just going to stick this flexible deal down in here, and maybe a hanger, or, you know, whatever would work. But you know, you can feel it, and if you look underneath the car, it's a straight shot. You get a pile of goodies that come out of there. It may have been just too much water all at once. So this hole, when I look down in it, and I'm sure you cannot see this with the camera, but it just got some stuff up on the top here, and I don't know what that is. I can't quite make it out. I'm going to do my best to get rid of it and see if I can get it to poke through all the way down to the bottom. Checking that. Yeah, it's quite a bit worse over here. It's a lot of dirt and leaves and, you know, whatnot. Hit that with a little bit of air. The passage is surprisingly small for the job that it has to do. Oh, I see what it is. It's a piece of rubber that has slits all around it, and it closes up, and it's real flexible, so it opens as necessary. But you know, it is what it is. So we got it cleaned out. I think it looks much better than it did. And the real trick of this thing is just don't get a lot of water back in here in the first place, and it should be okay. So we're in the process of putting the new top on. Be a good problem solver, right? That's really what this is all about. The new top is not exactly the same as the old, so you've kind of got to work things out. This is our first time doing it. It's first time working with the product and so forth. Quite a challenge. So one of the things that you have to do is you have to string these cables through the top and route them down around. And you know, occasionally they tend to want to slip through back into the hole. So we did tie them so that it makes a bigger, you know, lump to have to suck through that hole. That seems to work pretty well. What we struggled with here was getting the tensioner back in this track here, and we eventually got that accomplished. And take a look at how we did that. And there's a piece of plastic that runs along the new piece. It's been tucked down inside there, and then this Velcro ties onto that. So that looks pretty good. It's about exactly where we want it. I like the way that's coming together. This has been temporarily put in. These are just hand tight right now, and we wanted to keep them there because, again, it's not exactly the way the top that came off it is not does not match the new top. So this is just a temporary deal, so we can make sure that the fit and finish and so forth was actually going to go our way. I think right now what we're going to do is we're going to head toward the back, do the rain gutter, and start to attach that, and then start to tweak and refine and so forth. All right, we're attaching the rain gutter right now, and all the challenges have been right in this area, and it's because it's so tight back here, right in here, trying to get nuts, keepers in place, so forth. Really a challenge. Right now, we're just trying to get some nuts on lined up with the posts that hold this all together, just so we can keep the thing from falling apart on us. And then once that's done, then we'll add the actual hold down trim and go from there. Evan's asses and elbows in this thing. Our biggest problem so far has been the temperature. The top comes, of course, packaged up in a box, right? It's all folded up and everything. And when you try to unfold this thing and it's so cold, it actually changes the dimension of all the pieces on the top. So you're always pulling, stretching, pulling, pushing, whatnot. So we have really struggled with trying to get the back of the top where the rain rail is, right along here, actually onto the posts, right? This has been the issue the whole time. We spent probably an hour on here. And he's on the last couple of bolts right now, and trying to get these things lined up has just been unbelievable. So we're almost there, but we're not quite there. But last nut. Never bother a man while he's working. I hear a ratchet.
Yeah.
Is that the last nut?
Last nut.
Awesome.
Tighten this left there.
Are we done? Can we eat dinner now?
I was always told not to quit until the job was done.
It's done for tonight. It's 37 degrees outside, man. Even with the heater, it must be about 50 in here.
I was going to say, it's pretty toasty in the car now.
Right.
Small space, hot breathing.
Right. Finally got the rain rail in, man. What a problem that was. A lot of muscle required. So now we're going to attach the cable to the front 5/32 inch rivet. Come forward a little bit. Awesome. We have got this thing sort of put together. You can see that it's real nice and tight. It looks great. No more holes. We got the rain rail handle, which was the original big problem that we really needed to solve. And you can see now that we're going to quit for the night. Evan's going home, and I'll probably finish this job up tomorrow and tighten everything down. Awesome looking thing. Really pleased with it. So I've been working on putting together the weather stripping on the passenger side, and it's all together, and it took maybe 20 or 30 minutes to get this done. The only thing that I've noticed here is that down here, this is kind of far away from the actual stripping itself, and you can almost see where it might catch rain. I'm not sure about that. In order to get that adjusted, what has to happen is this piece of weather stripping would have to come off. The silver track that's holding it in would have to come off. Then you would take the material of the top and pull that interior and then re-screw it down, reinstall the weather stripping. And I think I can get that to tuck in a little bit tighter. So I'm in the process of putting the weather stripping back on the vehicle. Three separate parts. The track is from the driver's side. I've already done this side. The wider part goes interior, the shorter end goes exterior, and the wider part goes into a slot like that, right? and then it tucks in. And I've been using an upholstery tool to work that out, so that's how that actually is assembled. All right, let's take a look inside. So behind the center column here, or the side column, the door jamb, if you look down inside, the camera a minute here, there's this flap. This flap attaches to the back of this column, and they sort of kind of maybe, pre-punched some holes in there. They didn't line up at all. I took a leather punch and cut my own holes, and now I'm about to rivet this flap to the back of this column. Everything's tied down. We put the seat back in, vacuumed it out while we had the chance. I did not put the back deck cover, the carpet in, because we want to spend some time cleaning that up. I'm also going to put all the stuff back in the trunk that we talked about in the very first segment of the video. So would you do it yourself? That's a big question. This is a pretty hard project. I have to give this about an 8 or a 9, in terms of difficulty here. So you got to be prepared for this. The best scenario that I can think of is that you just you don't need your car right away. Maybe it's something that you can put up for a week or two, work on it over a couple of weekends, so forth. So thanks for watching. Acquired a new action cam. If you're interested in watching a time lapse of the project, you can hang around and do that. It offers no value whatsoever in terms of how to put a top on, but it's pretty cool to watch. Thanks for watching.